Welcome to GlowJob, the beauty podcast that's more than skin deep. We call it a job because real beauty takes work.
Here's a question. How are your New Year's resolutions going?
It's pretty good. Not too bad. I feel like, okay, I tried to make them attainable this year. I don't know about you. So all things considered, okay, I don't really like the word resolutions. I feel like it's too lofty of an ideal. I like setting sort of like these
Intentions.
Sure. I'll call it intentions, like near-term goals that I know I can actually put into place.
I'm the same way. I have learned in my years to set the bar very low when it comes to these things. Because then you can there's nothing more satisfying than just checking something off the list. So what were mine this year? I really want to and will continue to work on GlowJob, our baby. Another one was to really try and be more present at work, in my relationships, in my friendships. And I think my last was to really just figure out a 5-year plan.
Okay, so my goals were a lot more you said those were low bar. 5-year plan is not a low bar to me. That requires a lot of thinking.
I mean, but you can't mess it up. You're gonna do it, right?
Okay.
It's not like trying to lose 5 pounds where you might actually fail.
Okay.
Doing a 5-year plan is just really thinking about what you want out of life.
Well,
we can see if I hit it or not in 5 years.
Yeah. That's a whole nother story. So why don't we jump in to what are we going to talk about today, Julia?
Okay, so this is going to be a super, super fun episode, but it's going to be all of the weird and crazy, crazy stuff that people have smushed and slathered on their faces over the years. And it'll be a little bit of a history lesson. So, Sasa, kick it off.
We're going to start with some weird historical examples to give you some context of how long people have been putting weird shit on their faces. This is not a recent phenomena. And we're going to start off first with the ancient Egyptians. So this is pretty gross, but I guess gross is contextual, but crocodile dung face mask. That was a commonplace beauty treatment back in ancient Egypt.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, no, I know.
I know you said that it's contextual, but is it really poop is poop?
Okay, one can argue perhaps old crocodile poop was cleaner than current crocodile poop.
I know, but poop is poop and pee is pee, because the next one is Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, known to this day for her remarkable beauty, would literally bathe in pee and donkey milk. And I don't know if donkey milk is more of a delicacy than cow milk, but to me it just seems a little bit ickier. Maybe because cow milk is at least food grade clean. But even today, you can go to a spa and get a milk and honey bath or something like that. So she was definitely onto something, at least with the milk. But I know that donkey milk also has some skin benefit ingredients, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say lactic acid. So that is a chemical exfoliant that is really popularly used. And I'm also wondering maybe if donkey milk has higher concentrations of lactic acid because it's probably more sour. You know how goat milk is also more sour and it has higher lactic acid? I wonder if that might be the thing there.
That could be a reason. But even just going back to the whole thing of her bathing in urine, that's also not the biggest stretch. Yes, milk is still definitely used, but urea is something that's in urine. It's the main component. And we'll touch on it quite a bit throughout this episode. So even though it's disgusting and probably smell terrible, she was onto something.
Okay, how about the Romans? So they were washing their faces again with urine for its ammonia back then. Fun fact, ammonia hydroxide is still in skincare today.
That is actually crazy. But I mean, when I think about the ancient Romans, I feel maybe they were using urine because their water was not clean, not potable back then. Everyone was drunk during the Roman Empire because you have to drink wine or something fermented because you just if you drink water, you die.
Yeah.
So next, we mentioned a few that's kind of still used today, but ones that are definitely not is anything from the Renaissance era. And the women back in that day were wild. They were literally using arsenic and lead and all of these things for like a brighter, more beautiful complexion, because pale skin was in back then. But definitely do not do those today. Those will kill you.
Okay, next will be Empress Dowager Cixi. So I think she was ahead of the game here. She used crushed pearls as a face mask. And, you know, in Asian culture still today, quote unquote, brightening products are very much the norm and the trend. People want to have this like clear, really what it is like a lighter complexion skin. And we can talk about all the complicated things with that one another time. But, you know, pearls are still used as a brightening product today.
She honestly must have looked amazing, like just having that kind of luminous sheen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, highlighter back before there was internet.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. But, you know, pearls are still used everywhere today in skincare, makeup. She was definitely on one.
Very luxurious.
And the last of our historic examples is Victorian women. So that was definitely like the age of opulence, but this to me is disgusting and probably super painful, but is bloodletting. So they would either use leeches or like, you know, cut themselves a little bit to release blood from their bodies to give themselves a rosier complexion. I mean, I could never live in that era.
You know, really, because sidebar, I really love the Victorian age. I think of like the gorgeous homes, the Victorian style homes are one of my favorites. Like the clothing, I know it was obviously very constrictive and not comfortable, but beautiful clothes. The S curve in terms of like the shape of gowns and the shape of corsets back then. I don't know, it's kind of pretty.
No, Sasa, I could literally never. I mean, I get it. The corsets were fierce, but there's just like, I was only made for this era. Like, I could not survive a day. The smell alone would take me out. Like, just like, I just imagine Victorian era is just stinking and like of sewers everywhere you go.
Well, you know, that's why perfume became very popular during the Victorian era. And they would wear these little amulets. Like, I know a lot of high-end perfume companies do this now where it's like you'll have it'll be like a solid piece of perfume in a beautiful like kind of like locket.
Mm-hmm.
And people would carry those around back then in the Victorian era because it smelled so bad you would need to like sniff your little perfume locket while you're walking on the street.
It's crazy. I actually went to a perfume museum in Grasse, France, and that's kind of like the origin of modern perfumes, but they have this like history of reviews, and it was absolutely spectacular. So I've seen those little amulets that you were talking about, but let me just say that perfume bottles back then were so much more fabulous than they were today.
Everything was so beautiful then.
They were definitely beautiful. I'll find some pictures and send them to you, but my favorite one, it was this little box that looked like a string of pearls. But each one was its own fragrance. So each little sphere looks like a little pearl, but when you opened it up, it was this tiny little bottle of perfume.
Okay, see, I'm convincing you. We need to go back to the Victorian age.
No, it's still a hard no for me. It's still a hard no.
You want your electricity. I get it.
So, Sasa, let's keep the ball going. We are far from finished with the weird shit people put on their faces, but the next segment is going to be everything animal byproducts.
Ooh, okay. So why don't we start off with something that I feel like has been, I mean, I guess it's kind of been here, done that, but it's definitely still a big trend. Snail mucin. So it's a K-beauty fave. We all know that. It's full of glycoproteins, hyaluronic acid, antioxidants. There's a lot of pros here in terms of the benefits. I think the issue, though, is that people have some qualms with how it can be extracted, right?
It's so messed up.
Yeah. Like traditionally, snails have to be stressed to encourage the mucin secretion. So you literally have to stress out these poor little snails to make them produce a shit ton of mucin.
I've watched a video on this, and they kind of put them on a sieve and shake it. And they just like kind of wait for these poor little snails to just like leak out the mucin, and then they collect it and then they sanitize it and I mean a few other steps, but then bottle it.
Mm-hmm. All the poor snails.
Another crazy thing that we are doing to the poor bees of the world is using bee venom in skincare. Have you heard of this one?
I have. People keep calling it an alternative to Botox, but I think what people don't realize is it's actually two very different mechanisms between bee venom and Botox. So bee venom has something called melatonin, not melanin, but melatonin. And it's actually a type of peptide that produces an inflammatory response to your skin. So it actually reduces the appearance of wrinkles because of this temporary response versus, Botox, that's a neurotoxin. So that's literally blocking the signals to your nerves. So that's why your muscles can't even move.
Which is so crazy because Botox is really so popular. But another ingredient that really just paralyze the muscles is called snake. And what it does is literally replicates snake venom. So kind of doing the same thing as like paralyzing the muscles on the face. So you can't do any of those like facial expressions.
Wow. So crazy. Just extrapolating animal shit and putting it into our bodies.
Creative but crazy for sure. And there's a lot of products out there that like use bee venom. Rodial is a really popular brand that's been around for a while, and they have like crazy product names. They have a snake product, they have a bee venom product, and they have one that like definitely doesn't exist, but their red dragon blood is their like cult classic product.
What does that even mean, red dragon blood?
I don't know, but it was super popular because like Eva Chen is a huge fan of it, and so I would always see her using it and it would kind of pique my interest. But at the time, I was like a broke college student, and that cream is like $300. Fact check me, but I think it's like $300.
Wow, crazy.
So I think one person that really helped make bee venom popular was Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop. I mean, she is definitely known for trying anything and everything for, in the name of beauty, but she's basically letting bees intentionally sting her. And she says that it helps to reduce inflammation. And it's this like a natural kind of like really ancient practice that's more of like a ritual to really help people to heal themselves. It's wild.
She should tell this to someone who might be allergic to bees.
I mean, yeah, dangerous for sure, especially for getting like I've never been stung by a bee, so I have no idea how I would react, but this is not something I would try when like you could maybe like need an EpiPen.
I have stepped on a bee before, and I can tell you from personal experience, it hurts like hell.
Yeah, so just like imagine paying someone and like getting like a bunch of bees to sting you at the same time.
No, thank you. I'll pass. And how about bird droppings? Julia, I know this is your favorite. You just love poop.
I mean, how many different times are we going to say poop throughout this episode? But like people really just love putting shit on their faces.
I mean, obviously Cleopatra would approve here.
Cleopatra would approve of this one for sure. But there is an ingredient in, I think it's typically nightingale bird poop, but uric acid. Urea is actually the byproduct that our body produces when it goes and breaks down proteins. So it's like the main thing that's actually in urine. Some of the biggest players and most affordable players in skincare use urea a lot. And the only one that comes to mind is
CeraVe.
CeraVe, exactly. And I think like people kind of realize this because if you go on their website, they have this whole like FAQ page about urea. And I think they just wrote it so people don't get grossed out.
I have a little story here. I had a friend in college. She told me that her dermatologist had recommended that she use her urine as a toner, her own urine as a toner. She was having some dermatological issues. And I remember being so mind blown at the time, being like, what in the world is happening? But, I guess urea is in a lot of products.
It is, but at the same time, I feel like that dermatologist is probably some like sicko who's like, how far can I make like,
this poor girl go? Yeah, I know. It was wild. But hey, you know what? Like today's episode, people like putting weird shit on their faces.
I mean, it doesn't stop. It really doesn't stop. And the next one I have is bird's nest. Are you familiar with like what bird's nest is?
Oh yeah, it's some fancy spit from these little cute birds. They're actually very, very cute. Have you seen what they look like?
Yeah, and they live in these crazy caves.
Yes, I know. So basically these little birds, they are called swiftlets. They're really, really cute.
They even have a cute name.
I know, Swiftlet. How sweet, right?
I'm going to name my next pet that.
Oh, that's a cute pet name. So swiftlets are these cute little birds, and they have this really special spit saliva, really. And they use their saliva to create these wild looking nests. Like they kind of look like crazy spider webby nests. Have you seen them?
Yes. And I think that what makes these nests so unique is that these birds only live in rock caves. Mm-hmm. So they need something super, super sticky and elastic that will like stick to the surface of these rocks without letting them like drop to their deaths, right? So I can kind of see how people would want that in skincare, like that kind of like super elasticity. Mm-hmm. But I know it's also something that people eat a lot. Like it's a delicacy. I've had it before.
Yes, it's really common in Asian cuisine, right?
Yeah. And crazy enough, like when I was living in San Francisco, there is a huge Asian population, specifically Chinese. They literally sold the soup at Costco.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You could buy it at Costco?
You could buy the best stuff at this like bougie Chinese focused Costco in Soma, San Francisco. But they have like all the super luxury things like bird's nest soup, like these fancy sausages. It's like $400 like brandy bottle in the shape of a dragon. Like this
Whoa.
Costco is next level.
That's the Costco I want to go to.
Right?
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
But the soup sucks.
Wait, does it taste bad?
Yeah, I really did not like it.
What's the flavor?
It was just kind of like more of a broth with this like floating gelatinous thing in it. But I feel like certain cuisines do kind of like that texture a little bit more. Like you'll see it kind of like that chewiness, like in intestines or like chicken feet, like that kind of like, or like fish collagen, fish skin, like kind of that kind of consistency, which are all supposed to be good for your skin too.
Yeah, they're all good for you. Just some people, I get it. I get it. And whale vomit, aka ambergris. Do you know this one?
I do, and it's super interesting because it's super particular. So it's not just any whale, it's sperm whale. So basically what these whales do is they're really well known for diving super deep into the ocean and eating the giant squid, but their stomachs can't like digest the giant squid beaks, so they throw it up. And when they throw it up, it's this like big blob. And then over time with salt water, it starts to harden into a rock that's used in some of your favorite perfumes.
Yeah, like aka really expensive brands like Creed,
Byredo.
Yep, Byredo, Diptyque, Baccarat, like the really expensive Baccarat Rouge.
Yeah, like I mixed that with another Baccarat fragrance on my wedding, but literally, I think, you know, since it is so rare, like so particular, like I get why you're not going to find that in like your Victoria's Secret love spell.
Yeah, exactly.
And the last of the weird animal byproducts is beaver butthole secretions, aka castoreum, and it's used everywhere. Fragrance, flavorings. What do you think?
I just can't get over the fact it's a butthole secretion
Of a beaver.
of a beaver. Go from poop to buttholes.
I mean, just like how I said, everyone has had urea on their face. They have definitely ingested beaver butthole secretions. A lot of times when it comes to like artificial vanilla flavorings or raspberry flavorings, beaver buttholes.
Oh my Lord.
You've had it before and you probably liked it.
It's like
Me too, though.
Oh, I was just thinking of a rim job joke, but I'm not even gonna go there right now. I can't. So sad. You keep saying beaver butthole. I just can't help it. You know what? But let me end it on a different note. Beef tallow. It's the one we love to hate.
Oh my God. Sasa's number one op is definitely beef tallow influencers and beef tallow as a whole.
Oh my God. Yes, I am beef tallow's worst nightmare. I mean, we've talked about this in our first episode. I hate it. I think it's so stupid.
It's so dumb. I was in a restaurant in Cabo like a little while ago over Christmas, and they had beef tallow French fries on the menu, and I thought of you.
Oh, you know what? See, I like beef tallow in my food.
It's delicious.
It's amazing. I just don't want it on my face.
It should stay in the food for sure.
Yes, in my tummy, not my face.
So we went over all the animal byproducts, and let's crank it up a notch with something even more controversial. So there's so many things that honestly make me feel like I'm living in like a dystopian future, like a bad sci-fi movie. But Sasa, kick it off.
Yeah, so controversial things. We're going to talk about stem cell treatments, and this runs the gamut from, well, I'll start off with the first one, baby foreskin. I know. I just saw your face. It's a weird one, but I mean, it's basically, so like I said, it's a stem cell therapy. It's extracted growth factors that are coming from originally a baby's foreskin. I don't know about this.
I mean, to me, it's just sad because like I'm like team anti-circumcision.
Oh, really? Interesting.
It's just a personal preference. Like I just don't think, I think it's supposed to be there.
Yeah. It's not something I've ever really thought about.
I know, but like, I think like, you know, like if I have a baby, am I going to do that to my baby? I don't know. I know in a lot of cultures, it's like religious and super important. And it's like a celebrated rite of passage, but I am just not those religions.
Okay. But also I'm going to just totally derail us right now from our conversation. You know, if your son is living in America and most of the boys are circumcised Do you want him to be the one who's not circumcised?
He will grow up with a great personality and a really thick skin, wink, wink, but like, he'll be fine.
Okay, good. So let's bring it back to the baby foreskin. It's like I was saying before, it's basically extracted growth factors. And, before we dive even deeper into all this, I want to explain a little bit about what a epidermal growth factor is so that we have some context here. Growth factors were something that were actually discovered in the 80s. So in 1986, Rita Levi-Montalcini and Stanley Cohen, they won the Nobel Prize for discovering epidermal growth factors, EGFs. So EGFs are like these little messengers in your skin that tell your cells how to repair and grow. And the reason why this was groundbreaking was that before the 80s, we really didn't understand how cells molecularly signal to each other to grow and repair. And it's been groundbreaking for tissue regeneration and for cancer research too.
And it's so crazy that they just discovered this in the 80s because there are skincare companies today rampantly using growth factors. Like, they're not super, super popular, but they have been around for a while. Whenever I think about them, it's like when you fall and you scrape your knee and your knee heals itself and you stop bleeding and you get the scab, etc., that whole process is growth factors. So, it makes sense to want to put it onto your face to get those kind of same healing benefits, anti-aging benefits, however those work. But, in this case, however, it's really a lot of lab-derived growth factors and not necessarily like straight from the baby.
You know what? Yeah, that's something I want to talk about. So there's a lot of controversy around like how growth factors and stem cells in general are sourced. So the things here, like for the baby foreskin or stem cells in general, they need to be derived from living tissue. So that's either human tissue or animal tissue. And once it's derived from the living tissue, then it can be replicated forever and ever and ever from a lab. But the controversy is, of course, in that original sourcing. And you do need to get it from live tissue one way or another.
That's interesting because I have seen companies like really start touting like plant-based stem cells, and it will come from things like alpine roses or like certain types of nuts. And they always like articulate that these stem cells come from plants that grow in really harsh, like dry, hot climates.
Yes.
So those plants are like super, super resilient. So they do something in the lab to kind of extract that stem cell, but that's completely separate. And I think the way that those work on the skin is also quite different than what we're talking about here, which is human stem cells.
Right. And you know what? Honestly, from some of the cosmetic chemists that I've listened to and spoke to about this, plant-based stem cells are just as efficacious. And, they're a little bit different. The ones that you were describing of the stem cells that are coming from these really harsh environments, there's some research that's been done saying that those can be even more efficacious on the skin, just because, like you said, if they have been surviving for a really long time, really close to the equator or, frozen in a tundra, there's a lot of resiliency in there. And so being able to extrapolate that and put on your skin, I mean, it's a win-win. It's really effective and also it's less, controversial. And one more thing on, growth factors and everything here, there's also the matter of efficacy. So growth factors are actually these really, really large molecules. And there's a concern that unless there are channels made onto your skin, that large of a molecule can't penetrate the top layer of your skin. So more than likely, it's going to just sit on top of your skin and give you no more benefit than a moisturizer. So there are a lot of people who say that in order for growth factors to work, you need to use some sort of a device, let's say like microneedling pens, to create channels so that the molecule has a vehicle or a way to go into your skin.
Definitely. And I know a lot of companies like Lemieux do really spend a lot of time focusing on those delivery systems. But in my mind, if any kind of skincare company is creating like a growth factor moisturizer or a growth factor face wash, like that's just not going to work. Like, that's just like total BS. But I think, and I want to make a like rest of 2025 prediction that growth factors will become more popular. The Ordinary just released a promo for a new growth factor serum that they're releasing. And I think it's like, I'm definitely going to try it. I think it's going to be super interesting. I think that they're really well known for making really cheap products. Not cheap,
Yeah.
but like well-priced products.
Affordable.
So I'm just curious to see how they can actually go in and work in the labs and manipulate the growth factors to be a size that's going to be absorbed by the skin.
I know. It's all about that delivery system. Like, how are they going to get it through your skin?
I mean, the thing that makes me think that they can do it successfully is that since they are so large and so successful, they have powerhouse labs that can really spend the time on research and development because they can just really do this at scale
Yeah.
that other companies just can't afford to do.
That Estee Lauder money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So stem cells, especially from like babies, like just imagine being a company trying to market that to somebody. You know what I mean?
So there are some old school brands. I remember like in the early 2000s, Oprah had shared on her show that she was using this new face cream. And I think it was by Skin Medica. It was basically called the TNS Recovery Complex. It's a $230 face cream. Back in the day, when you would click onto the product on their website, it would list it and say that it was made from foreskin fibroblasts.
Literally foreskin.
It literally said foreskin.
Okay.
This was like why it was in the press everywhere, because it was like, Oprah uses a foreskin baby.
That's like some like Illuminati shit right there.
Exactly. She's feeding into the Illuminati shit right there. It was so bad. But now, if you go on their website and you click on it, it doesn't say foreskin fibroblasts. It says human fibroblasts. So, you know, they picked it up and realized, maybe we should change the branding here a little bit.
I mean, that's probably a better decision. I mean, it's controversial for a reason, right? Like foreskin. I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. Would I try it though?
I mean, I'll try it. I just won't tell everyone I'm trying it, but I'll try it.
I mean, just imagine. Remember when she would do her like Oprah's favorite things?
Yes.
You got a foreskin. You got a foreskin.
I'll take it. And also, did you know that Hydrofacial even has it as an add-on service now too? Like, they put it in one of their ampules, and you can do a foreskin like hydrofacial treatment.
Okay, how much?
I think I've seen places do it for like $600 to $650, like in that price range. So it's not cheap.
I mean, that's an expensive add-on. I mean, that's like more than double what a typical hydrofacial costs.
Yeah.
Dang.
I know. And did you know that one donation of foreskin, so like one little tissue sample of foreskin, can actually produce 1 million treatments in the lab because they're replicating it over and over and over again?
Okay, so like that makes me feel less bad.
Yeah.
Like 1 million, like I feel like that's
one.
like almost unfathomable. Like, right? Like,
Yeah.
imagine buying 1 million bottles of serum or whatever that means, right? Like, okay, so I mean, it's scales.
Yeah. It's like a gray area to me.
Sure. But I mean, when it comes to like human body parts, donations, whatever, like I get it.
Yeah. Like an organ donor, right? Like that's normal.
I don't think they're donating their organs for that, but
I'm just contextualizing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not that weird if you think of it that way.
No.
It's already sort of
it's there.
in the Zeitgeist. Yeah.
So let's keep it going with a bunch of controversial products, but one that has gotten so popular lately is salmon sperm.
Ooh.
Or PDRN, and it's really high in nucleic acids, which is really good for skin regeneration. I actually bought some. I was at a convention and they had Rejurin there, and they're like the leader in this. All of this has really been popularized in Korea, by the way. I think they're always just kind of pushing the crazy
The new hot thing.
Yeah, so like it was snail mucin, now it's salmon sperm, but I bought it and I am so excited to use it. It's not something you can buy as a consumer, like it's one of those like industry conferences. So I have to pair it with a microchannel needling pad, which I also have. So I'm really excited to kind of combine the two and play around with it because I don't know, I was kind of doing a little girl math of like whether I buy it myself and do the facial on myself or like what people are charging nowadays, but I know you want one.
Can I have a facial, please?
You can come over. You can come
Yay.
over.
Okay, wait, Julia, I have a question.
Let's hear it.
How do they get the sperm out? I mean, come on.
No. This is a good question because I actually researched it.
Googled?
I was curious. Yeah, private incognito browser Google. Yeah. Okay, first and foremost, like salmon sperm harvesting is nothing new, right? Like there are salmon farmers. Like most of the salmon at the grocery store is farmed, so they've been doing this for a really long time. But there's two ways. One, You massage it out of the fish.
You're jacking off the fish.
You jack off the fish and you get that good stuff. So that's one option. And the second option, and this one's a little more sad, but like you basically insert a tube into the fish and you suck it out.
Like a
And
catheter?
with a catheter, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And typically the fish don't survive, but
Jesus.
just keep in mind that usually when it comes to salmon in general, when they spawn or reproduce, they actually die. Like that's the end of their life cycles. So,
Okay.
keeping that in mind, it's like, obviously I see how it's controversial,
Yeah.
just like slaughtering fish for a facial, but yeah.
Okay.
Sasa, it's so like hard for me to bring up like salmon sperm facials without like giggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Cause like you remember that like, it's like an old wives' tale. I don't know where it comes from because it's definitely not backed by science, but every single teenage boy ever will try and tell you that sperm is good for your skin. Right?
I'm laughing because I can just like actually picture so many different boys' faces of them trying to like say that, no, it's like good for you. And I'm like, no, you idiot. No, it's not.
Then put it on your own face.
You jack off and put this on your face.
No, it's actually ridiculous. I mean, it's like one of those stupid things, right? That like, I don't know. I think they just like, it probably works like 1 in every 100 times or whatever. I don't know how dumb teenage girls are these days, but like, it definitely doesn't work. But there was like one of those like Daily Mail posts about like a woman who was like getting it from her neighbor.
Oh, I remember
in a
that.
cup.
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking idiot.
Oh God. I don't know. My mind just thinks like this was probably some porn thing. And then they were like, yeah. Like,
Well, I mean, they call it a facial.
No,
so
I know. There's a lot of things. I'm not going to run the gamut of all the terms right now. And, oh yeah, it's not a real thing, you guys.
Okay.
Don't. I mean, if you want to try, go ahead. But
we should have put like an age warning on this episode in the beginning because it's so naughty.
I know, but you know what? C'est la vie, right? It's part of life. The sperm and it creates life, right?
No, but people truly love it. I feel like every time I open up like Instagram or social media, like people are talking about salmon sperm facials and they're loving it. And not only like I feel like in the beginning, it was really only available in spas and in salons as like an injectable treatment. But now it's like Medicube has one as like a collagen serum.
Yeah. There's a lot of brands that are just doing like little serums and ampules and stuff like that are just, made for regular consumers.
People will try anything for good skin.
I know.
I mean, this episode is proof.
Yeah. How about vampire facials, aka PRP?
Oh my God. I mean, your own blood. You're going to do that to yourself.
Yeah, I get it. It's like, I mean, yeah, I kind of get it. It's like it's coming from you, so you're like, okay, if this is part of my own body and I'm putting it back in, it should be quote unquote good and safe and etc. But did you know like where PRP originally or what PRP was originally used for?
No, Sasa, tell me.
Okay, so PRP, it stands for platelet-rich plasma. It was originally used for orthopedics. So it was used to help heal injuries like tendon and ligament injuries. And they were using these concentrated platelets in your blood to speed up recovery, so tissue regeneration. And then there was a lot of clinical proof that it was very effective for tendons and ligaments. And then dermatologists saw this and saw, hey, here's an opportunity to, reappropriate this for aesthetic purposes. And it became really popular for skin rejuvenation, to help with things like scarring and wrinkles. And now the jury's kind of out in terms of efficacy because like there is a lot of clinical proof that it is good internally, but there is much less proof that it can do much topically.
And I can see why people would say that it's like, oh, the best facial ever or whatever, because like it's expensive and you're getting this very luxe treatment done at your service provider's office. And so they're probably using like other amazing serums and devices and technologies to really help you look great after. But like, I think the people that made this super popular were the Kardashians and they're kind of like viral vampire blood facials. But it's super crazy the way that the facial's actually done. So just like when you go into your doctor's office for blood work, they will stick a needle in your arm and collect vials of blood, put it in a centrifuge, spin it until the blood starts to separate so they can collect that PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and literally just re-inject it back into your face. And I hear that it's actually kind of painful.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of derms tell me, and even RNs say that you, like, oftentimes 9 out of 10 times people need to be numbed before they do it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not like the only treatment people will do where they need to be like numb. There's even some where you need to be sedated.
Oh, yeah.
Another super controversial one is the human placenta.
Ooh, yeah. This one is full of growth factors and it's packed with vitamins too. So there are a lot of benefits with the placenta.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because like just like how you were mentioning with PRP that it started off having a purely medical purpose, like healing bodies. Placentas, I mean, basically it's like the organ that is pushed out after a woman gives birth, and it's used a lot with like burn victims. But there was this amazing LA Times piece about placentas in the medical field being used, and it's been clinically shown to do like amazing things: regrow tips of noses that have been chopped off, restore people's visions. Like, so it really has all of these kind of like, it's not magic, like obviously it's science, but seemingly magical properties when it comes to skin rejuvenation.
Yeah, I mean, well, it really is the center of life. It is feeding, a fetus.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, did you know that the human placenta is actually the only organ that a human can grow after they're born?
Whoa.
Yeah, so the female body will grow a placenta when she gets pregnant and then just push it out after she gives birth. But literally, it's the only thing that grows after you're born.
So crazy.
I know, but it's wild. So placentas in like the medical field was actually like really, really popular up until the 80s. So, women would often like donate it after giving birth and doctors would use it for all of these different reasons. But in the 80s, there was AIDS crisis. And so for that reason, placenta donation just stopped. And there's a lot of advocates out there like trying to get people to like redonate it for like medical purposes. But I guess, it's clearly being used in skincare as well.
Yeah. I mean, skincare and vitamins, people like turn their placenta into vitamins too, right?
Afterwards. Oh, yeah. There's like services that you can do.
Yeah.
Like literally you give birth, you put it on ice, and then they go and they make pills out of it for you.
I much rather do that than like put my placenta in a blender and drink it. Cause like that's the old school way of doing it.
It's so gnarly, but like animals do it. So here's a question, Sasa. What would you do with your placenta?
I would send it to the vitamin factory and get vitamins made.
I mean,
you want it or no?
There's a part of me that thinks I'm like this hippie, like connected with the earth, like would give my baby born in a water bath, eat my placenta afterwards. And like, I don't think I have that in me. So I think I'd have to
do vitamin.
I think, like I would want to eat it and be like, I am Gaia, like I am the source of life. But no, I think I would make it into a pill. But I'd still eat it.
You're still Gaia if you're eating the vitamin,
Yeah, but it's like, it's just a processed placenta.
You think I would think of it more as like dried, freeze dried placenta, like I'm okay with that. I'm also the kind of person, like, more power to you. I love that. Like, vaginal birth, like water birth, all that. I am give me all the drugs. I don't want to feel nothing. I don't want to like just get it out of me kind of girl. So yeah.
I could totally see that. You're going to be itching at like month 8.
Oh,
7,
I know.
Way before that.
I'm going to be like, how do we expedite this?
Come on, baby.
Come on. I want to see you too. But yeah, no, I think I would do the vitamins.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, actually, you know what? No, I'm not opposed to putting it in a blender and drinking it. I drink some weird ass smoothies in the morning. Every morning, like I make this gnarly smoothie. I'm okay with texture and flavors. I could do it.
Probably. I used to live in San Francisco. Do you know how much disgusting shots of Fernet I've had in my life? Like, be for real. I could do a shot of placenta for sure.
Yeah. It can't be that bad.
Or maybe it is.
All right. And finally, let's end on, we're talking about babies, placenta, breast milk soap.
I'm a fan. Like, I think it's a good idea. Would I use another woman's breast milk soap? I don't know. But like the breast milk, I mean, that is what you feed your child with. And if you have a surplus of it, I can see like breast milk baths for babies is definitely a thing. But, women are like now turning it into a soap for like themselves to use and also like use for the baby, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't, call me crazy, but like breast milk, cow's milk, what's the, it's all technically milk. I mean,
I know, but like, like that company Lush, when you buy something, there's like that little picture of the person who like made it and they're like, this comes from Ralph. What would you do if like this came from
Susan?
No, but in a weird way, like I think I mentioned in like the beginning of the segment, like it seems like dystopian in one way, but like very hippy dippy in another. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. I think it becomes dystopian when it's
mass produced.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, it's not that far off from the hippy dippy stuff, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, one thing that's kind of crazy, like, and a little more dystopian is like the rise of colostrum. And that's like related to breast milk. So colostrum is like that first hit of breast milk that comes out after the baby is born. And it's supposed to be like hyper packed with all of these nutrients and benefits. But nowadays you see a lot in like protein powders and things that people are just like drinking. And I'm like, is that kind of sad for the baby cow? I don't know.
I know. I think about that because it's like they say that colostrum is, the golden milk, right? It's essentially what creates the first sort of like initial immune system defense for your baby. And so, yeah, for like a baby cow who's not getting it because it's getting mass produced for, I don't know, our dietary supplements on
Gwyneth
Instagram.
Paltrow and Goop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's controversial. I get it.
Definitely. But I mean, there's definitely people that love it. I know that Halsey was quoted using a colostrum skincare product from Biologique Recherche. And I'm sure it's a gorgeous product because they make some amazing things.
Yeah.
But they also have a placenta serum.
They do.
They do. I have not tried it. I've tried their other products, like their iconic, like Masque Vivant.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's poop in it, but it literally smells like it.
Oh my God. Wait, I need to buy the placenta serum. I actually am really curious to try that.
Yeah, so it's like one of those brands that you can actually, you can't really go into a store. You have to buy it from a spa.
Yeah.
So I think they have a location in like West Hollywood or somewhere, on the west side here where you can go get a Biologique Recherche facial and then kind of shop their collection.
Yeah.
But Rescue Spa. RescueSpa.com.
Okay. No, because I've gone to their spa in New York before. I know that they have one in LA.
Oh, you know what? I'm totally forgetting. Shutters in Santa Monica. Their spa uses Biologique Recherche, but they're opening or have opened, I don't know what the status is, like a standalone spa.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so like the one in Shutters, like walking distance from here, you can go. Maybe they have the placenta serum. It's a small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just to kind of sum up this list of like crazy, maybe controversial products, but I think like I've been reading a lot, and you know how there's that saying, like if you hear something get mentioned 3 times, it's probably going to become a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Axolotl.
Oh, wait, they're the cutest little lizard thingies.
I know. They're so cute. And they kind of look like they're always smiling.
They do. They have a happy face.
Yeah. So these poor little suckers, as cute as they are, scientists have discovered that they're really good at regeneration. They can regrow limbs.
It's not crazy.
They can even regrow brain matter, which is wild. I mean, their brains are obviously like not as complex as ours, but the fact that they can grow it back is wild. So I think that is going to become a new ingredient.
So you're saying they're going to chop off their little tiny limbs and figure out how we can like regrow some crazy ass cells in our face?
I know. I don't know. I just think that's going to be what's next.
It probably will be. I mean, like, I'm sure, they probably don't have to kill it for the tissue. They can probably graft some tissue.
I mean, if they can regrow the limb, maybe.
So maybe it's not that bad, right?
Yeah, but I think for sure they're still testing it out in just kind of like the health space and like using it for like medical purposes. But like, as we've seen here, everything starts there and then just ends up on your shelf in your beauty counter.
On your face.
All right, Sasa, episode is over, but let's just go through every single thing we mentioned today and yes or no, would you do it?
Okay, cool.
Donkey milk and urine baths.
Yes, I would do that.
I'd join you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go together. Hold hands in the tub.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, what about washing your face with urine?
Whose urine?
Your urine. We'll make it easy.
Okay,
Your
okay.
urine.
Okay, I would try it.
Yeah, but like how much water would you have to drink beforehand?
You know what? No. When I have a cold, I down water like crazy to the point my urine is quite clear. So, I can handle that.
Okay, there we go. This one I feel like I already know the answer, but lead and arsenic a la Renaissance era.
Nope. I like to stay alive and not blind, please.
Yeah, exactly. But what about bloodletting?
For the purposes of having like a glow and like blush, is that kind of...
Yeah, for like a rosy complexion.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll pass.
I think the blood should stay in your body, so I will also pass. Crushed pearls.
Oh, I would do that. 100%. Yeah.
Same. That's an easy yes for me. Next, snail mucin.
Oh, yeah. Done it. Been there, done that.
Likewise. Bee venom?
I try to avoid as much inflammatory, response stuff on my face. So no, thank you.
So I think that I would not only use a bee venom serum, I think I could be easily convinced to actually let a bee sting my face.
You know what? Good for you, girl. It's a hard pass for me.
I mean,
I don't like inflammation.
I'll try anything once, right? And so, like, I think I would just try and see what it's like.
It's because you've never been stung by a bee before.
Okay, touche. Bird poop.
Ooh. Yeah, I would. I don't know why. For some reason, a bird poop seems less scary than crocodile poop.
I mean, I've had a bird poop on me already once in my life before.
Same.
So, I mean, I would still try it. What about a bird's nest?
Yeah, I would definitely try. I have bird's nest products.
Okay, and do you like it?
I do. Yeah, they're really hydrating. They feel really good on my skin afterwards.
That's what I would think because it has that kind of like elastic texture.
Yeah.
What about whale vomit?
I mean, I already have. It's in perfume, right?
Yeah, and like I'm a bougie girl. We have the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have plenty of ambergris. And I know that you've already done this one, but beaver butthole secretion.
Well, I didn't know I was doing this one, like, clearly, but yeah, it's fine. Why not? The butthole is fine.
Yeah. Okay, what about baby foreskin?
Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend. I'm curious. I would do it.
So, I mean, I think originally I would have said no, but once you mentioned to me that like the one sample has 1 million,
Yeah.
and that like if it is donated, like I would do it. Salmon sperm.
Yep, 100%. And you're going to give me a facial soon.
Yes, let's do it. Vampire facials.
You know, I would consider doing this. One of my clients from my day job, he is a plastic surgeon and they offer this as a service. I've thought about it. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I would try it just for the sake of trying it. What about you?
I would 100% do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying yes to a lot of these things, but besides the lead and arsenic.
Yeah.
Placenta.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I plan on using my own placenta. Like, why throw that away? It's
Yeah, I
gold
plan
mine.
on eating my placenta, so like
Yeah.
100% I'd use it in
Yeah.
skincare.
Same.
Breast milk soap.
My own breast milk or someone else's?
Someone else's. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's soap. You're going to wash it off. Sure. Why not?
I would do it for sure.
I mean, if I'm going to be in donkey milk and urine, I may as well take some lady's breast milk soap. I mean,
Right? And I don't know. I just think that, is it gross? Is it like someone's pee or poop?
no, because it's not. Because, okay.
It's not
pee
a part of the waste cycle.
Exactly. Like, milk is, it's nutritious. It's food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'll do it. Why not? I'm already saying yes to like bird spit and bird poop. Like, I'm not
Oh
going to
my
make
God.
breast milk the
Well,
the
thank God
crossover.
we have the whale vomit to make us smell good after.
Exactly. Yes. And the butthole of the beavers. I can't get over that one.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We had way too much fun with this one, but please make sure you tune in next week for our weekly episode.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave us some love in the reviews and be sure to share this with a friend who needs a glow up.
And feel free to follow us on socials. You can follow our podcast at GlowJob Podcast. You can follow Miss Sasa at Sasa No Skin and myself at Skin Sift.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.